The failure I faced was a blessing in disguise. I identified my weaknesses, whether it was in a specific subject or dealing with the exams generally. I changed my attitude and overall outlook on how I dealt with the exams. I knew I would prevail, and I did. I'm a chartered accountant. Today I'm going to share a few of my experiences with you about my chartered accountancy journey. It has been over 3 years since I qualified my chartered accountancy exams. And like most CA journeys, there's always an interesting story behind it. The beginning of my orientation towards CA as a career option began as a suggestion from my father, who is a chartered accountant. I had a really vague idea about the course, and no one around me mentioned anything about the level of difficulty or the pass percentage that people usually worry about. The only thing I knew for sure was that it was a challenging course that gives great opportunities if I succeeded. The drill began less than 2 weeks after completing my 12th board examinations. I completed my CA foundation in the next 2 months and then started the coaching for the intermediate exams. It was only then that I came face to face with the voluminous nature of the CA examinations. During the intermediate exam study leave, all my CA intermediate books were piled up on my dining table, which I had converted into a study table. Due to the volume of the portions I had to cover, I was almost losing my mind by the time half my study leaves were up. One day, my mother came over and, seeing my condition, told me to take some rest. I thought, why not? And I took rest for a couple of hours. As I rose and returned to the study table where I had kept my books, I found a completely empty table and almost felt robbed. Stunned, I looked around for my precious books, and a quick look revealed that they had been stacked on a side table. My mother came over and said, "Stop looking at the problem as big. Break it down. Keep only what you need in front of you." I restarted my studies, keeping only the books I needed in front of me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt relief that I was not looking at a giant in front of me. I used this micro study strategy, and by God's grace, I managed to clear the intermediate exams in the first attempt. Then began my articleship training at a leading audit firm. Those were the golden days, and I enjoyed the experiences it brought me. Every day of my articleship was a new day, bringing its own unique challenges. It was one place I could make some, embarrassing and sometimes hilarious mistakes, and eventually learned from those mistakes and build a character and a personality for myself. Articleship also made me understand the importance of taking initiative and striving to be the best in whatever task was allotted to me. Then came the final stage. I went to Chennai to undergo the CA final coaching. I had almost 12 hours of classes in a day for 4 months. I did not even get Sundays off. This was quite a strain and also quite unproductive, as I could barely function properly due to the utter lack of rest, which made doing revisions after classes almost impossible. Worst yet, I caught the dengue fever and was hospitalized for 2 weeks. So basically what I would say is, take the occasional rest or your body will do it for you. Then came the final examinations. This was when I experienced my first failure. The test of life is the biggest test that we have to face. All good things don't usually come on a silver platter. Sometimes we have to deal with unpredictable challenges and problems. Right before my first attempt, I had to deal with a personal emergency which caused me to spend my valuable study leave to deal with the emergency. At this point, I had little chance of being able to successfully handle the exams, and I even considered skipping the attempt. However, my parents encouraged me, pushed me forward, regardless of my chances or capabilities. I went ahead and attempted the exams, and guess my result? I failed. The failure was a big blow to me, as this was the first time I had ever experienced failure. And sure, I felt terrible for like 2 days, but I got over it. My parents were quite supportive and I always encouraged myself and was hopeful. What is hope? Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness. I did not complain but rather took action. The failure I faced was a blessing in disguise. I identified my weaknesses, whether it was in a specific subject or dealing with the exams generally. I changed my attitude and overall outlook on how I dealt with the exams, taking it one step at a time with hard work, perseverance, and God's grace. I knew I would prevail, and I did. So in conclusion, my advice to you would be, don't limit yourself to the person you are now. Build yourself into the person you are meant to be. Even if you face times of failure or loss, do not let fear of failure stop you from living your dreams. If you fail, pick yourself up and try again, as every failure builds character and gives you the opportunities to succeed. Remember, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. I wish you the absolute best. Thank you.